Absolutely, Eric. And to get us some perspective, we're also being joined by Erica Savage, a political commentator, joining us live from Washington, D.C. Thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast.
Thank you for having me.
We have a lot of post-mortem to do about what happened, what went wrong, what went right, and what happens here on. But let me put you on the spot and ask you, at what point do you think Kamala Harris lost this election?
Well, I've been up for the past 10 hours doing election coverage here in the United States in Washington, D.C., just a stone's throw away from the White House. And, definitely a lot of people fired up. As you all well know, Vice President Kamala Harris had a watch party that she was hosting, many of the donors as well, on her alma mater of Howard University here in the heart of Washington, D.C. And as we started to see some of the polling come in, it was abundantly clear after a couple of hours, particularly after we saw North Carolina come in. North Carolina saw a surge of over 500,000 women registered to vote, outperforming men, but not really understanding that if those women would be voting based on body autonomy, if these women would be voting based on not to ensure that somebody who is a multiple time felon, convicted sexual assaulter, who has been blasphemous towards women would actually be into office. But as we did see, North Carolina is ruby red. So some of the exit polling is showing us that, in fact, a lot of the states that Biden won handsomely by 10 or 13 points were not states that the Harris Waltz campaign was able to maintain, or that they were able to maintain a substantial lead victory. So it was when we saw North Carolina at that time, we began to become worried. But I do want to say something with regard to what your correspondent said, because this is a narrative that has been floating around, particularly around Black voters and Black men voters, that the coalition that he mentioned was comprised of Black men, that Black men are the number 2 voting bloc in the Democratic Party, right behind the number 1 voting bloc, which is Black women. And what we saw overall, but particularly in places like New Jersey, in specific counties, in some counties in New York, and across the map, swing states and elsewhere, is that Hispanic Latino men voters turned out for Donald Trump. There was a message that resonated there that you all did say specifically, that was around the economy, that was around the working class, but also looking at that voting bloc is very diverse in and on its face, and that there is this thought process around coming into America the right way.
Absolutely, it does seem so. Eric, I'm completely out of time. I wish we had more time with you. Good to speak to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on WION.
Thank you for having me.